What's up, you Lucid investors and moneymakers? Welcome back to the channel. Lucid sharply dropped today, 11.82%. We went to $7.08 from our yesterday's close of $8.12. Our range was pretty wide range, a super swing day for Lucid, and wild range $7.08 through $7.89. If you think about today's drop, you may have some questions, but I'll be going through why I still believe that Lucid is bullish for a immediate short-term and also for the long term, and I'll share my analysis because if you have been watching my channel, for the most part, I'm pretty bullish on Lucid, but that's just me. Do your own due diligence research and analysis before you buy or sell. My videos are not for buy or sell advice. They are merely my own personal opinion and my analysis and research that I do, and I like to share with you as the community to give back. Today's dump or today's fell sharp, why Lucid fell sharply was because of the second quarter deliveries fell short of estimates amid demand concerns. Now, Lucid delivered 1,400 electric air luxury sedan in the second quarter, which is lower than what the analysts expected. Analysts were expecting 2,000 Lucid sell and deliver in Q2. So let's take a look right here. Lucid delivered 1,404 of its electric luxury car sedan in the second quarter. Analysts polled that expected that they will deliver about 2,000 vehicles. There are a couple of reasons why they didn't do it. Number one, this air are pretty expensive. So you are looking at shrinking the expensive market. So the luxury market may not really need that brand just yet, and they may not want to spend because it's more than $90,000. That's number one. While inflation is skyrocketing, people are thinking about how to spend, where to spend, and how to save money. On the other hand, what Tesla did is they reduced the price point and they wanted to sell more. They shrunk their profit and they sold more cars, where Lucid might have a different strategy. Let's talk about it. I also want to talk about a little bit more into this chart analysis and how it worked out today, because in my opinion, there was a lot of healthy buying happening as well. And there is a reason why we did not really go below $7, because $7, massive support. I've been telling you, number one, right here, that $7 LCID stock price broke out of the $7 hurdle, and that was the case until yesterday. But this $7 became a strong support today. As I always tell you, that whatever is the resistance, it takes a hard or long time for a stock to break out of that particular range, because it's not comfortable and the stock won't go. But once it passes, it strongly passes and closes above that price point, that level that had a challenge to pass through becomes a strong support, and that's what exactly we saw today. Our volume was pretty healthy. 120 million was the volume compared to 57 million yesterday, 65 million the day prior, and we saw that the volume doubled up and we did not really go below 7 cents or $7, which is a pretty strong indicator. However, we'll see what the market does tomorrow. For the most part, market was in green. Nasdaq was 1.15% up, Dow Jones closed 0.25%, S&P was up 0.74%. So all in all, everything was up. NIO was up 3.14%. I'm extremely happy. I still own NIO, $11.16. Tesla was marginally up, but it was in green, $271.99, $2.20 or 0.82% up. Now, while Lucid again had this challenge, this data came out. The news, it suggested that the demand for air remains weaker than the company had hoped, and I'm not super surprised. In other words, you might be thinking whether you should buy, sell, or hold. You decide yourself. I'm not a financial advisor. All I ask you in return is to hit the like button. Don't forget to hit the like button. That motivates me. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on many juicy information, and turn on the notification bell. We have been talking about Lucid since it was $5.50. I'm looking, if Lucid goes below $7, I'm going to watch out pretty closely and I will add into my position. Now take a look. If you bought it around $5.50 and $6, and we talked about exit strategy for Lucid, if you remember, at $8 and above, you can go watch my previous video. I talked about exit strategy. If you sold it around $8, this could be an opportunity to get in. Again, if you did not, and if you buy it around $6, cars, you're still in money, so you don't have nothing to lose. So decide yourself, build the conviction that you have or that you want. And all in all, if you think about, we are still up 10% overall for 1 month. For 5 days, of course, we are flat, and 1 day we are down 12%. But this is how opportunities are created, especially for strong fundamental companies, right? So let's talk about what is going on. Luxury vehicle maker Lucid Group said Wednesday that the delivery 1404 of its sedan Air customer in the second quarter for the bearish update amid the concerns. Now, the update is itself is bearish, but the company is not. Fundamentally, nothing has changed. Companies sold cars, yes, they fell short, but that's an opportunity where they can catch up and the stock can go up. Lucid second quarter deliveries compared to 1406 deliveries in the first quarter, and so again 1404 compared to 1406 and 679 in the second quarter of 2022. Wall Street analysts poll that the fact sheet has expected 2,000 sell. Now, the company said they produced 2,173 Air in the period versus 2,314. So what this data suggests, they produced in the first quarter, they produced 2,314 vehicles, and in Q2 they produced 2,173. So they already knew that there is a weaker signal for the sales. Basically, the registered sales or reserved sales were not converting. That's the challenge based on what I understand. They fell, the stock fell, and that's when the opportunity is, and it can be cured. So let's take a look year to date, and you should be able to see we're still up 16%. 6 months, we are down 12%. So I wouldn't be surprised if this all recovers within next few days, because I know that there's a healthy buying happening. Now, growing concern about the demand for the Air luxury car, I get it, but here is the reason. This is the longest range for EV available in the US. It's expensive. While lower price versions are on the way, the Air currently costs $92,900 before incentives. So it's relatively pretty costly car, and not everyone can afford, and they are targeting a premium market, and that market is shrinking, as I just told you, because of multiple reasons. One of the major reasons there being Tesla cut down on their prices. They got also some of the tax benefits, and the company surprised Wall Street analysts in February then when it planned to build just 10,000 to 14,000 Airs in 2023. So they already know that this is not the right segment. What the company is going to do is they're going to adjust their market point, right? Like the selling point and the vehicles that they build, and they will target a slightly different market. That will ramp up the revenue. Despite of having 28,000 reservation on hand, they had 28,000 reservation on hand. What that suggests, that the company will focus on marketing in 2023, and that was a hint that they are struggling to convert those reservations into the sale orders. And again, it's a sign of slight trouble. Lucid cut down 18% of its workforce, and again, the layoffs happen across in all the industry, especially in tech and EV. If you think about any company, any tech company, any EV company, they were struggling. Last year, it was a struggle for supply chain management, so they could not produce. This year, it was a struggle with also supply chain management slightly in Q1, but also the skyrocketing prices, right? Inflation that the Fed is trying to target. And they lay off about 1,300 workers in late March. And this will be reflected into their profitability, their OPEX, how much money that they're spending for the production, so on and so forth. So company is taking all the right measures for profit. And this is a for-profit company. I feel sorry for those lost the jobs, but on the other hand, companies trying to make profit for themselves, for their investors, and for their shareholders. Not at all the bad news. However, Lucid said on June 26th that they struck a deal with this particular powertrain group, battery system, and related technology. In return, Lucid will receive about $232 million in phased payment, or 3.7% stake in this British supercar maker. Again, it's a good news, and they also have this investment fund, as you already know, which is the Saudi Arabia investment fund. All in all, the key takeaway here is the Lucid is not going to struggle with money. and they are going to market it and market it well. One thing that you want to notice is what the analysts are talking about. Analysts are saying $8.67, which is their price target, which is 21% upside. So if you believe in tip ranks and their analysts, you should sort of follow accordingly and do whatever you think is the best. But $6 is the lowest price point that people are targeting. We are $1 above the lowest price point that the analysts are saying. We're at $7.16 and analysts are saying $6, which is the lowest price point. The average is $8.67 and the high price point is $10. So there is a massive upside if it hits $10. We have 6 ratings. Out of that, 3 are saying buy, 3 are saying hold. One of the things that you want to notice is the short selling that is happening on 11th of July. 57.51% is the short selling FINRA ratio. What that suggests is out of 26 million total FINRA volume, we saw 14.9, almost 15 million shares were shorted, and this will trigger into short squeeze, because at one point it won't really go down, because we have tested the water. It cannot really go below $6, and once we see $7, even at this price point, we started seeing the buying volume. Let me show you real quick what I mean by buying volume. And do not forget that today's volume was pretty healthy, 120.5 million, and a lot of buyings were happening. People were buying and they were not necessarily going to sell the same day or the next day. Yes, there's some swing traders and some are holding for a long period of time, but there's good amount of buying happened. And let's take a look right here. If you think about the RSI, right, it's an oversold condition right now. Relative strength index, RSI, is 26, suggest it's a shorted, or it's not shorted, but it's a heavy sell volume at the moment, which means it will trigger the price into the positive direction in the next trading session. We have seen that we went right here, it was overbought condition around 88. That's an overbought, and people then might have sold, and right here we saw 26, which is a very good RSI for one day. By the way, this chart is for one day, and take a look how we dropped. I'll show you the jaw-dropping really price point right here. We dropped, boom, we dropped from $8.38 suddenly all the way through $7.16, right? $7.10 rather. And then we tried to find out where we want to go. Now, if I just do this chart and show you a little bigger, you will see a lot of buying volume. The selling volume just happened once, and that might be short selling that was happening. But we saw buying volume. So every single time the price went down, we saw the buying volume that kept the price point up and about $7.10. Again, $7 became pretty strong support, or $7.08, sort of something along those lines. That became pretty strong support for the stock, and every single time we go there, we just got back up. This selling volume took the RSI, brought the RSI down to 26, and then we saw slight buying volume at the end of trading session. So that's what you want to note. Once again, we were pretty choppy in range while we dropped. Yes, we dropped to $7.10, but we're staying between $7.10 and $7.30, which is again a good sign. Let's go back and see what it says in this article. During the first quarter, on May 8th, Lucid said that it expects to produce 10,000 vehicles in 2023. That is enough cash on hand to continue operation at least until the second quarter of 2024. So it's one more year or 12 months from where we are right now. The company also raised additional capital of $3 billion at the end of May. Lucid will report its second quarter results on August 7. So August 7 is going to be a key date. So mark your calendars, and you want to make sure that you take the takeaways, right? The earning. So now they're setting expectations. So there will be certain expectations from the analyst, and this is already baked into the price point. Now, if they come out of surprise, and if they show that lower EBITDA and higher profitability, good revenue, now you know what the revenue you can expect. But if they show us that at the end of March, they did the layoff, they took all the measures to make sure that they are not spending more than they should be, and that is again a good thing. Now, Q2 production drop, we have started seeing some of the red or bearish news for Lucid, but all in all, as I just mentioned, as long as we stay above $7, we can go back up and running, right? Another thing you want to note is right here. This is the moving average that you see, the blue line. Right now, again, this is a bearish sign. On this channel, we talk about good, bad, and ugly. Now, if you don't really like to listen to some bad news, but that's a good news for the future. So you want to understand our good news for your portfolio as well. And on that note, do hit the like button if you haven't already and subscribe to the channel. But again, I want to tell you that for one day, the moving average is not looking super stunning in my personal opinion. But if you think about this right here that we are seeing for 50-day moving average, let me show you right here, and you won't be really disappointed, because our moving average is the blue chart, which is 720, and the real-time price point is 719. So we are just meeting each other. So it's not a bearish sign. For one day, bearish sign. For a long period or midterm, we are doing pretty good. For the midterm, again, RSI 53. So tomorrow, it's pretty balanced. Not an overbought, not an oversold. One day, we're oversold, which will help the stock push into the right direction, into the north direction, into the positive direction, right? Like we will start seeing $7 and change. If we see $7.87, once again, ladies and gentlemen, we'll go up and about, up and running $8.30, as I told you earlier. And this is not my consensus. This is what the analyst told us. And I wanted to find out if I see that $8.30 written somewhere here. I guess not in this article, but somewhere. But regardless of what this article says. But what I'm trying to say is, if we hit 787 or 786 or something along those lines, we'll hit 830. And after that, we'll see double digit. We'll go to $10, which is another resistance level, which means it'll be tough, a little challenging for us to go outside of that zone. But once we go out of that zone, I think we can hit $14. It says $13, but based on my analysis, if everything works out before the end of the year, we may see $14. Again, the short sellers are pretty heavy. It is good thing for me, in my opinion, it is good thing that it can create some sort of short squeeze position and the stock can skyrocket. Once again, you want to know that why Lucid is one of the great stock, because we'll see what they announce in terms of their earning in first week of August, but they had about 159% year-over-year growth that we saw in last quarter's earning. We also saw that their vehicle, yes, 1,406. And think about, they're pretty flat. They're not really in red situation. They delivered 1,406 vehicles in Q1. In Q2, they delivered 1,404, and they already knew that. So again, we will see what happens next. The cash is not a problem. They're also taking all the measures that they should be taking. I hope you like this video. If you did, do hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.